Hello, 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 and welcome everybody to my Zen Den. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Mandy VanHavermaet, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Grey Eagle, Minnesota. Tonight I am going to be making a couple of cards with the stamp set called Yeti to Party. This is one of them that Stampin' Up! Just released a set of dies that go with it. That are available only for the month of September or until supplies last. So if you are at all interested in getting these dies, you might want to act fast because I don't want them to go out of stock on you, and I do foresee some of them being sold out. There's about 6 of them so that are part of that promotion, and I can tell you what they are. They're right here in my hand. They are the Apple Harvest Bundle, the Fresh Cut Flowers Bundle, the Playful Piggies, the Trimming the Tree, Waterfall Canyon, and of course the Yeti to Party. So we are going to be playing with the Yeti to Party tonight. So let's flip the camera over and we will get stamping. 1 second. All right. There is the Perfect Partners flyer. So we've got, like I said, we've got the Apple Harvest, the Fresh Cut Flowers, the Birthday Piggy, Trimming the Tree, Waterfall Canyon, and Yeti to Party. These are all posted on my Facebook page if you're interested in them. Otherwise, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to put a link down in the description for these awesome bundles. I am so excited for them. Especially my favorites are the Piggy and the Yeti. But, you know, just saying, that's what I like. So, first card we're going to, oh, here's the stamp set. I should show you that first. It's a photopolymer stamp set. It's so cute, isn't it? Just darling. I really like it because it's not just Christmas. There is a Christmas sentiment in it. Is it Christmas Yeti? But it's also get Yeti to Party. It's your birthday. And winter wishes and holiday hugs. So it's a stamp set that you can use for more than just Christmas, which I think is so much fun. It's very versatile that way. The dies that are with it are really interesting dies. They're a lot of fun. There's a scarf for the Yeti, and then all of the images. So all of these images have a die to cut them out. And then there's a little banner, and I think this is a little flag if I'm not mistaken. And then of course the mountaintops and the scarf. So very cool dies. And so let's get into making some cards with them. First card I'm going to make is a little out of the box maybe for this set. Here's my, there's my dimensions for everything. We're going to start out with a base of Pool Party. This is 8.5 by 5.5, scored down the middle at 4 1/4. There's my bone folder. Fold and burnish that. And then we've got a piece of Highland Heather. We're doing a basic mat here. So 4 by 5 1/4, and then a piece of basic white that's 3.75 by 5. And then I've got 3 little squares of basic white. Those are all 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. And 3 little squares of Highland Heather. Those are 1 3/8 by 1 3/8. So what I'm going to do is I am going to stamp on my little white, or no I'm not. I've got a piece of scratch white paper. That's what this is for. This is scratch white paper. Whew. It's been a week, guys. All right, so what I'm going to do is stamp these 3 images. So I've got a snowflake, I've got the mug, and I've got the tree, the pine tree. I'm going to stamp those 3 images out. So I've got shaded spruce for the tree. And these are photopolymer, but because they are they're just lines, and the lines are so thin, you pretty much can get by without using your Stampin' Pierce mat. If you want to use your Stampin' Pierce mat, go right ahead. I'm living on the edge. So I've got my basic gray and my mug, and I'm leaving enough room in between these that I can run them through my cut and emboss machine only one time instead, and I'm going to lay all the dies out at one time on there. But you definitely could make it, like, squish them together a little bit more. That would be no problem. And then my bigger snowflakes. So there's 2 snowflakes. This is the bigger one. And I've got this in Orchid Oasis. So cute. Okay, so that is that. And now I'm going to bring in just a few blends. This is basic coloring. These aren't going to be colored like over the top crazy. I'm going to bring in a Granny Apple Green. Let's see, and I've got the light end. And I'm going to just color my tree, every other section there in the Granny Apple Green. And then I've got a shaded spruce. I got the dark shaded spruce. Matches the ink that I used to stamp it in. Just gives it a little bit of different color with that Granny Apple Green in there, right? Isn't that cute? Okay, and then I've got my Real Red blends. I'm just going to use the light. If you want to get in and do it fancy, you go for it. Do your shading and all that good stuff. I'm not going to color my base. And then I've got, whoopsie, I've got crumb cake here also. I think this is the dark crumb cake. So it can be hot chocolate or it can be how I drink my coffee. I like a lot of creamer. Okay, so now I'm going to use, out of the dies, I've got my Christmas tree die that I would cut it out with. I've got my goofy looking coffee mug that I would cut it out with, and my bigger snowflake. Okay, and I would run that through my cut and emboss machine. Through the magic of television, I have that step done already. Ta-da! There they are. So put these back in here so I don't lose them. So what I'm going to do is I am going to adhere, because these have such a fine, they're kind of got a fine border, I'm going to use glue. And the reason for that is because when I put this down, it's got a little bit of wiggle room yet. Look at, I've got a glue all waiting for me. I was prepared. I'm just so used to grabbing back farther behind me to grab my glue. So we're going to put those on like that. And that's why I like the glue, is so I can move that just a little bit. Whereas if I were to be using a tape runner, which is what I normally use, right? That sticks a little more permanent and it's a little harder to wiggle it to the right spot. So with the glue, see, I've got a little bit of wiggle room there. So I can make it perfect, okay? So what the whole goal here is that I am going to be doing this and then putting these on here like this. Okay, with a little bit of dimensional. So I could actually do that right now. Let's put them on. We're going to pop them up just a little bit. And what a simple card, right? So cute. And the snowflake. Just like that. My house is remarkably quiet tonight. It's so weird. And I've got all my kids here and they're just being quiet. Okay. I like it, especially when I'm on visiting with you, but holy man, it's weird. Okay, so now I'm going to take the stamp that says Winter Wishes. I'm going to tap, 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 and I'm just eyeballing it, and I inked it up in the Orchid Oasis. There we go. Just like that. And the reason I didn't adhere these down is because guess what? If this didn't work right, I got a whole nother side, right? So I make a habit of always stamping on my paper before I adhere it down. So I've got the opposite side to use if I need it. Okay, so I'm going to mat that down onto the Highland Heather. I'm going to mat the Highland Heather on top of the Pool Party. I love these colors together. I think they are just so pretty for winter. So fun. I love it, love it, love it. All right, and so we're just going to put these down, and I'm kind of laying it out how I want it first. And the trick is to do adhere the two outside ones first, and then do the center. So that's what we're going to do. And again, I'm using my glue so that I've got a little bit of wiggle room. Like that. Do the snowflake. So this is a little bit out of the box for the Yeti. It's not, you know what, I'm going to turn my snowflake is off center just a little bit. It just seems to I don't know, it must be an optical illusion. This is a little out of the box for the Yeti, in that it doesn't have the Yeti in the picture, but it's such a cute card, and there's so many cute images on this stamp set that go ahead and use them all. Winter Wishes, what a great card just to say hi to somebody. If you wanted to stamp happy birthday, you know, do the happy birthday on here, go for it. If you wanted to make it a Christmas card, go for it. But isn't that cute? Card number 1, super simple. Sorry, I covered up my instructions there. If you wanted to add some of this, oh, wouldn't that look pretty on there? Let's put a bow on. I wasn't planning on a bow, but let's make a bow because that just looks. I just like the thing. I like the sparkles. You know me and sparkles. Let's see if we can make it work. This is my creative process, guys, for real. That one's all sticky. I cut packing tape with one of my snips. And now I can't find the snips that don't have packing tape on them. That's the one that has packing tape. Maybe I cut packing tape with both of my snips. Bad. So it's almost as bad as the kids taking my... It's a little too much. I should have thought of that ahead of time. On my next one, I'll use that on my next time I make this card. But that's card number 1. Simple, right? Super cute. Okay, let's go on to card number 2. Card number 2 is not nearly as simple. I'm going to warn you right now. It's a lot of pieces, but I promise you can make this, okay? I would never make a card that I don't feel that could be reproduced, okay? I really, truly, I feel as though I'm a lazy stamper. So, this is my pieces for this card. We have got a card base in Starry Sky. This is 8.5 by 4 1/4, okay? This is going to be a fun fold card. This is scored. Let's see here. It's scored. So when you score it, you're going to score it 1 1/4, 2 1/2, and 5 1/2. Okay? Don't be intimidated. I promise this is not hard. Then you've got another piece of Starry Sky. This is cut at 11 by 2 1/2, and it's scored at 5 1/2. Okay? Then we've got some basic matting pieces. So we've got a piece of basic white. This is my scrap. We've got a piece of 3 pieces of basic white. One of them is 2 1/4 by 5 1/4. So that's going to go right here. Okay. One of them is 2 3/4 by 4. That's going to go on the back. That's where you're going to write your sentiment. And this piece here is 1 by 4. This is where you're going to go. This is going to be the front of our card. And so that's going to go right there. Okay. I've also got a piece of white glimmer paper. This is 2 1/4 by 3, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. And then I've got a piece of this really cool vellum. I don't know if you guys noticed this in the catalog. Let me see if I can find it for you. This is the coolest vellum pack in the world. It is so fun. I love this vellum, and I'm going to show you a way to use it so you can't see the adhesive. Let's see here. Page 40. So this is the vellum pack right here. It's kind of hiding, right? But it is the most beautiful. There's 6 pieces. Each piece, there's 3 pieces that are like an iridescent kind of looking snowflakes or polka dots. And there's 3 pieces that are like flocked. So it's the same pattern, but it's a raised, flocked, textured snowflake on there and dots pattern. It's so cool. I love this paper, and I think it gets overlooked. So we're using it. We're using it on this card with my Yetis. Okay, and this is going to be a fun fold, like I said. So let's get cracking. Okay, first things first, I'm going to show you how to use this vellum, how to adhere it on here without it being seen. Okay, so this is the way our card is going to sit. Okay, so this piece of vellum is going to go right here. In the big catalog, this is the old version of it. I still, whenever it went out of the big catalog, I hoarded it. They're adhesive sheets. They are fantastic. They are something that you should totally have in your arsenal, especially for really fine dies, because you can put this on the back of your paper, then run it through your cut and emboss machine, and you're going to end up with like a sticker back. Or for vellum like this. This is a really good trick. So we're going to peel that off, and then I'm going to stick it right onto the back of that vellum. And it's sticky, okay? It is sticky, I promise. But look at that, you can't see the adhesive. And so there's this little edge piece. Let's get that off. And that was easy. So now you've got your vellum is stuck to a backing. Okay, so now you're going to take this backing off, and your vellum is going to be a sticker. It's going to have adhesive on it, just like that. So now this is sticky. So we're going to put that right on, just like this. And now you can't see your adhesive through your vellum. Oh, isn't that the coolest thing? And so that piece there is garbage. I really, really, really love the vellum sheets. They are phenomenal. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is, let's see here. This is the back, but this goes on last. I've got to think here. I'm going to grab a piece of scratch paper to stamp on top of. And I'm going to pull in. All right. I'm going to pull in my mountains. Just stuck to my Yeti. Okay, so we've got 2 different mountains, and I found the way to stamp these guys. That was kind of fun. So I've got my black ink pad, just my basic black Memento. And I'm going to, right about in there, 1 mountain. I don't need them to be exactly perfect. 2 mountains. And then I'm going to take this little guy here, which looks like a little mountain, but guess what? Because it is photopolymer, you can line it up to make it a mountain range, right? Isn't that cool? I love it. So there's that. And so I'm going to let that dry just a bit before I color it. And while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to stamp my Yeti, also in basic black. Isn't he the cutest little guy ever? I like him a lot. He's so happy. So I'm going to stamp straight down, straight up, hold it down there for a little bit so it gets a good, nice coverage. If you stamp too quick, sometimes the ink doesn't absorb into the paper. So I got a beautiful image there. Set that aside. Okay. So I'm here again. I'm going to set that aside, let it dry a little bit. I'm going to pull in some blends, and I am going to, let's see here. This is not as bad as it looks. I promise it's not as bad as it looks. I'm going to be using Orchid Oasis. I like the color Orchid Oasis for the background of these mountains. So I'm going to take the dark one, and I'm just going to do kind of an outline. And I'm doing a basic coloring job, not getting too fancy on these. The Orchid Oasis is like that color you think of where you know, the song Purple Mountain Majesty, America the Beautiful. It's the perfect color for mountains. It's that beautiful purpley color. Who knew, huh? That an orchid could be the color of a mountain. And so I'm taking the dark here, and I'm just kind of shading a little bit. Now I'm going to take the light and come in behind, and this is why I love blends, because I can be a little on the messy side. I'm going to be covering this up, so don't worry that I'm making a mess. I am making a mess, but it's a controlled mess. My niece came down to my Zen Den tonight. She stopped and picked up a card, because she doesn't make cards on her own, but she likes the cards that I make. Anyhow, she came down and she goes, "This is like controlled chaos." Yep, that's pretty much how I live. All right, so now I'm taking my color lifter. And when you're working with blends, you kind of got to go a little bit fast. The color, but then again, the color lifter, you got to let it do its thing. So it kind of gives it a little bit of texture. It lightens it up a little bit. But don't freak out too much when it's doing its thing. It looks funny. It looks kind of weird. But it's a good weird. So I'm going to bring this down just a little bit, and you'll see why. Okay, so now I've got my piece of sparkly paper. This comes in a pack. It's 6x6, and there's white sparkle paper and red sparkle paper together. So also in the small mini catalog. So what I'm going to do is I'm just making a snowbank. So I'm just kind of making a wave at the top. Nothing too spectacular. And so that it covers up the bottom of my my mountains, my ugly part of my mountains, right? So what I'm going to do is adhere that on. And I'm putting the adhesive on this piece because this piece is too long and I'm going to end up trimming it. So it should be the same width. That's what it was cut to be. So now when I flip it over to the back, I can just trim off that excess. Like so. Okay, so now you've got a beautiful little snowscape with your mountains. Let's add a little bit of Winkostella on top of those mountains because everything's better when it sparkles. And that'll kind of match the snow on our, right there. Just like that. Okay. So that is done. Let's color our Yeti. The Yeti is like the simplest of coloring ever. I've got light pool party here. I'm going to color his face. And you could get more. You could definitely do more. I'm actually coloring this exactly like it's colored in the catalog. So I've got my light pool party. I'm going to take, like I said, I'm going to take my color lifter again. And I'm going to kind of blend out his edges. Especially right in there where there's no line. And I'm going to let that color lifter do its thing. While it's doing its thing, I've got a dark polished pink because I figured his tongue was pink. And apparently this is a guy Yeti because I keep calling him him. And then I've got dark Bermuda Bay for his horns. I couldn't tell what color his horns were, but in my head, they're dark Bermuda Bay. So Okay, so that's all the coloring on the Yeti that I'm going to do. So then I would take out my die and I would go to my cut and emboss machine and I would cut him out. Just like that. So let's assemble our card. So I'm going to take this piece and that's going to be folded in half. Okay, so I'm going to put this on there just like that. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. I am. I'm thinking, I was like, oh no, I forgot to do my sentiment. I didn't. I still got time for my sentiment. Okay, so just like that. Isn't that cute? That just alone is cute. It looks a little bit like Grinch. And then he's going to go on there just like that. He's going to hang out. So let's think here. Let's bump him up. Let's get some dimensionals and bump him up. He's a dimensional Yeti. I don't want him to sag. Oh, for Pete's sake. There we go. Got it. We got it. We're good. Cute, cute, cute. All right, so like I told you before, this is where my sentiment is going to go, right? My sentiment is going to go underneath of this guy. So I need to put my sentiment right here. And I am going to use Get Yeti to Party, It's Your Birthday. So let's make sure that that fits, because it's supposed to. Oh, it's going to be close. I'm going to have to go over to the left a little bit more, and that's okay. Or, you know what, we're going to bump that. We're going to put that on top of. Change of plans. We're going to set this down. It's going to be good. I'm going to use a punch. You know what, we're going to mask that off, and it's going to work wonderful. I need a Post-it note. Telling you, my creative process at work. You guys are totally seeing it tonight. Okay, so I've got a Post-it note. So I'm cutting off the It's Your Birthday, and I'm going to do Get Yeti to Party. Let's do that in red. It's going to be a little burst of color, right? So you ink it up, and then you remove that and Get Yeti to Party. Beautiful. So now I'm going to put that down and that. Nope. We're going to have to move it over. Just see, this is why you adhere it, or you do this first. Okay, let's do it one more time. New Post-it note, otherwise my fingers will be bad. Back to that. Bring out the red again. Okay, take that off. Big mess. Throw it away before you get ink on your fingers, because red is bad. Okay, let's try that now. So that's going to go there. This is going to go here. And look at it fit so pretty. Oh. See? Sometimes it takes thinking. So let's put this on the back. And I am going to move it over to the edge just a little closer. And that's just the way it's going to be. Okay, so now I am going to put adhesive right down here. And I'm not sure what kind of fold this card is. I'm sorry. I like to make the cards. I don't do well at naming the cards. I would assume maybe like a 10th fold. Not sure. If anybody knows, let me know. I should have a contest, a card naming contest. Okay, so then you've got all your things. You're going to scrunch that up. You're going to bring this back, and then we're going to adhere it there. Okay? So let's put some adhesive, and I would not skimp on the adhesive on this card. Because you've put a lot of work into it, and you wouldn't want it to pop open and be no fun, right? Okay, so now the card is going to sit like that. Isn't that cute? It's darling. Love it. Okay, so now this is the back where you would sign your name or anything like that. It's your birthday is the sentiment on here, and I think let's I'm gonna grab a happy birthday stamp. One moment, please. Let me think about it. For real. Sending birthday wishes. That's what we're gonna do. It's the first stamp set I grabbed. That's got a birthday in it. So sending birthday wishes is almost like happy birthday, right? So let's load that, put that up there. I'm actually going to be having a class. I just created a class with that stamp set. It'll be at the Melrose Community Education, so at the Melrose High School in November. There we go. All right, so this is now going to go on the back right there. So that's where you would sign your name. And when I say this stamp set, I meant Wildlife Wonder. That's why it was out towards the top. I was just creating with it. All right, so that's the background. So now your card looks like this, and it sits up like this. I don't know if you can see it very well, but that is your card. You know what? Let's do one more thing because I've got it. Should we add a little scarf to our Yeti? Yes, we should add a little scarf. That's going to tie into the red. So let's grab our glue. And this is the scarf that was out of the dies. So there's no stamp that goes with it. It's just part of the dies. But it adds a little bit something to that Yeti. As if he's not cute enough already. Let's bundle him up, huh? Oh, that's cute. I love him. All right. So there are the dimensions for that card. And like I said, I'm not sure what the name of that fold is. I'm going to go with a 10th fold. Not 100% sure on that. But so I am going to flip. Let's see here. There's my other card for the night. There we go. So cute. Okay, I'm going to flip you over to say goodbye. Man, here we go. It's tough. That was an exercise in patience, wasn't it? See, I've had people tell me, oh, you make it look so easy. You know what? I got to think about it too. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's cards. I hope you get to do something fun this weekend. Get some crafting in, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.